Coming up today on Eagle Eyes on Tech, Vine is back from the dead. For some reason, we'll get into details as to what that means. OpenAI has lost a copyright claim. Valve has introduced their Steam Machine living room console. We'll go into great detail on that. And we might have a dermal regenerator. Don't know what that is? Well, you have to stick around and find out today on Eagle Eyes on Tech. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, North 2 a.m. Good everybody, this Eagle Eyes on Tech. I am Eagle Falcon. What a week. What a week. Valve has come in and made massive waves in the video gaming space, but I'll tell you what. Here's my hot take on this. We'll get into more details on this later on, but I want you to just know this. I think the Steam Machine is hilariously overhyped. I do. There's a lot of outfits out there that are saying this is going to be a massive threat to Microsoft, to Sony, to Nintendo. And I think, here's me the very quick takeaway. I think these claims are beyond stupid. You don't even know what the price point of this thing is. I have an idea. I have a guess as to how much the Steam Machine is going to cost. I think it's going to make waves, but people saying that it's going to, Sony thought they won the console wars. Now Valve's going to have their way with them. This shakes up the entire console industry. What are you talking about? Don't get me wrong. I love the Steam Machine. I love what it represents and I love what they're cooking. But, yeah, it's not as big as people are making it out to be. But like I said, we're going to get to that later on in the episode. We'll cover everything Valve announced, because Valve actually did announce quite a lot. We'll get into that all in more detail later. First up, though, we are getting some reports that are concerning, and that is the fact that SanDisk is now jacking up the price of flash memory upwards of 50%. So now not only is your RAM more expensive, but now also your SSDs for future bills are also going to be more expensive. The reason the prices are going up is being stated as a, quote, tightening memory market, as well as, of course, our favorite thing in the world, AI demand. The amount of compute that we're able to generate that is going to AI farms is becoming absurd. It really is. And it's just, I can't remember the last time a product has been shoved down everyone's throats to this degree and the consumer wants nothing to do with it. But I got a question for you tech nerds out there. For those of you out there who are unfortunately cursed to be known by your significant other or family, or both, as, quote, the tech guy, how many of you have been asked how to get rid of Gemini on someone's phone? Or how many of you have been asked on how to get rid of this AI BS off their phone or computer? And the only thing you could do was give a pained smile because you know the feeling and just shake your head and go, you can't. Someone in chat asked, how do you get Microsoft Copilot off your computer? All right, so first you go ahead and get this thing called Ubuntu. The worst part is that I'm not entirely wrong. It feels like the only way to get away from AI is just to embrace Linux. And the worst part is I have way more AI stories later on. It doesn't stop with this. But if you're hoping to build a computer I hope you have spare SSDs laying around, because otherwise, guess what? You're SOL. You're going to end up paying more. All thanks to AI. Yay. Isn't AI great? Look at how enthusiastic I am about it. Just look at that. Look at all this enthusiasm. Look at it on this video, on this audio podcast. Tesla is being forced to recall probably a metric ton, but over 10,000 of their in-home Powerwall batteries due to burn risks. So let's explain what this is first. All right. So for those who don't know, Tesla does sell more than cars that are poorly put together. I know. It's hard to follow this too. Tesla also makes home solar solutions. In fact, they're actually decently good at it. The thing is that with solar, you're either always generating power or you're generating nothing. So at night, when you're not generating anything, you're kind of SOL. So you want a battery of some kind, and a big one at that, to store the power you're generating from solar to then use during the evening. Well, that's where the Powerwall comes in. Powerwalls are installed in your electrical room, and then they store the power your solar panels generate, and then you use that during the evening. If they run out of power, you instead draw from the grid. Well, apparently, the Powerwalls, they're not combusting, but they are getting dangerously hot in Australia, to the point where they are causing burns. Yeah, it's getting hot enough that it is hurting people. And to be realistic, at those kind of temps, it's going to combust. So they're looking at over 10,000 of these units being replaced, all because of potential burn risks. So all in all, I mean, good for those homes and all that. Yay. I don't think anyone really cares, really. It's kind of hard for a lot of people to care about solar. Here's something that people do care about, though. Mr. Jack Dorsey has gone ahead and reintroduced Vine to the map. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. This article is about Jack Doherty, who has been arrested on drug charges, and we're all in cheering of it. Yay. Yeah, international YouTube star Jack Doherty behind bars now, looking at roughly 7 years in prison for drug possession. And quite frankly, consider the fact the YouTuber has gotten their career off by annoying people and then hiding behind a bodyguard or crashing a car that's worth more than us. Sucks to suck. Anyway, enough of Jack Doherty. How about Jack Dorsey, who has restarted Vine, the 6-second video service, and has now been rebranded to Divine. I get it. Which is basically just Vine all over again, with the same 6-second video restriction, the 6-second length video restriction, and in fact is just booting up already equipped with the 100,000 videos that Vine already had. What do you think? Do you think Divine or Vine or whatever actually stands a chance now? Someone in chat said that TikTok videos are too long for their attention span. Dude, honestly, like, I mean this kind of unironically. When TikToks first started, they were like 30 seconds to a minute, right? I have seen some people try to share TikTok videos that are over 5 minutes long. That's wild. TikTok's just going more and more and more into the direction of longer videos. And Vine out here is looking to go ahead and get the ADHD crowd and just saying 6 seconds, go. Done. 6 seconds, go. 6 seconds, go. You know, it'd be even worse. What if the default player for Divine auto scrolls to the next video? I don't think that'd be good for anyone, but it would be hilarious. Just an auto scrolling nonstop feed of nonsense. Whew. It might be almost as useless as Twitter. Well, we'll have to wait and see how this catches on. I have no idea how this is going to go. I really, really don't. Because every time I think I understand online media, something happens that just throws me for a loop. Kind of like I expected no other updates remaining for Windows 10, but here we go. We actually do have some critical updates coming to Windows 10, specifically to fix extended security updates. So if you are still rocking Windows 10, first off, you should really be looking for an exit plan, even if that exit plan is to the Penguin. You don't want to stay on Windows 10 for too much longer, to be perfectly honest. But at the very least, you are getting some very urgent security updates very, very soon. In addition to regaining access to said security updates. So huzzah, huzzah, huzzah. That's good news, at least for Windows. They couldn't possibly botch it up, right? Right? New update to Windows 11 is going to replace the start menu. The Windows Start menu is getting its first major redesign since 2021. Is going to be rolling out to everyone on the November 11th Patch Tuesday update. I'm not going to lie, I have not seen it yet. I have not seen the updated Windows 11 start bar yet, solely because I don't remember why, but I ended up installing a plugin for Windows 11 that just restored a Windows 7 like start bar on Windows 11. And I never looked back after that. Now, to be perfectly honest, I hate the default start bar. I hate it. Oh God, it's awful. It's just plain awful. So I'm hoping that the new update is actually going to be halfway flippin' decent. Those who already have it, I'm actually curious what your opinions are. Maybe it's already installed on my laptop and I just haven't noticed. Maybe other people haven't noticed. It's hard to really tell. But in any case, if you're looking to get out of your Windows 11 start bar, go ahead, update Windows 11. Let me know how that works out for you. And if you hate it, don't worry, there's plugins out there to go ahead and change your start bar. You know what there isn't a plugin to go help fix? There's no plugin to help fix the power of AI, which has now infected, of all places, Firefox. Firefox is introducing the AI window, which is built for control and choice. The web is changing, and sitting it out doesn't help anyone. We were founded under the mission that the web should be open, fast, and secure. And for the people first, as AI becomes larger and larger part of the web, we see a clearer role to shape it in ways that support choice and keep the internet open and accessible to all. With AI windows, we'll do this through a fully opt-in experience. Okay, I can enjoy that. Features to protect your choice and more transparency on how your data is used. Okay, so what does it do? Like, seriously, what does it do? This is going to be rolling out at some point. There's no time frame listed as of yet. I'm hoping it ends up being a privacy sort of thing. But if it is supposed to be a privacy thing to protect you from AI, then why is it called AI window? It makes it sound like it's a product powered by AI. So what is it? Does anyone know? But I hate the fact that my very first instinct when I see anything with the letters AI in front of it is just to immediately assume that it has the worst intentions for me, but by God, experience tells me to expect exactly that. So what do we do? The answer is I don't know. I really don't. I guess all we can do is wait and see how this goes down. But for right now, God, I can't help but just assume the worst. I also can't help but feel like, actually, no, if it was made by AI, it would be way wordier and way less informative. But of course, while so many users out there are hesitant to embrace the power of AI, companies are looking for some way to make you love AI just because, you need to love it so that they can make money off you, despite the fact that no one could explain how AI will make my life better at frickin' all. It is the biggest struggle that AI has right now. It's the fact that no one, underline no one, Can come up with a good use case for AI that actually convinces us that this is a good thing. Just is what it is, isn't it? Well, don't worry, because Microsoft thinks they can change your mind by hiring influencers to have you go ahead and embrace ChatGPT and Copilot. The ads sound something like this. Ooh, ChatGPT good, using brain bad. Ooh. Is it working? I got a feeling it didn't work. And again, it goes back to the simplest answer, right? Not the simplest answer, the simplest question. Why? Because that's the question any product has to answer. Why should I use you? I've been getting harassed at work by Yelp, constantly asking me to go ahead and buy ads from them, to which my answer has always been the same. Because you're all talk. You don't produce results. We bought ads from you before. They didn't work. Oh, but things are different because we got more people. Can you show the metrics? If you can't answer the word why, then why should I go with you? If you can't answer why is AI good for my work without giving a confusing answer that just sounds like you want me to just assume you said a whole bunch of useful things, then we have nothing more to talk about now, do we? This is always going to be the biggest problem that AI has. Oh, but you can use AI to code things. How often? How successfully? Because other people I talk to have said on the regular that ChatGPT has been so bad at coding, they still have to spend the man hours to go ahead and double check the code the AI wrote. It's always the problem, isn't it? Whoops. So until you can answer that, it's hard to go ahead and try to sell people on AI. Does that stop anyone? No. No, it might actually stop them, though, is the fact that in Germany, OpenAI has, in fact, lost a copyright case. The German court has ruled that OpenAI has infringed in copyright law by using song lyrics to feed its chat models in a case that could have wide implications for European artists. The Munich report, according to CTV News, has found that ChatGPT was not entitled to use of the song lyrics to train its artificial intelligence without licenses, and that the artists who wrote them are entitled to compensation. Well, you look at that. Germany got it right. Looking at our courts here, they're looking at AI and saying, oh, no. They could totally just train these models on all kinds of works that they just took from the public. So what happens now? Well, right now, nothing. These particular artists are going to go ahead and get some kind of compensation. What's going to really matter, though, is how are other artists going to respond to this? And you've already got some very interesting things happening as well. We have a band by the name of Breaking Rust that has appeared on the internet in the middle of October, where one of their country songs has been rated a hit number one on Billboard Country Digital Song Sales Charts. The song Walk My Walk by Breaking Rust has broken this number one spot. Here's the problem, though. Breaking Rust is not a real band. Breaking Rust is AI. AI music is at the top of the charts. AI music is beating out real artists. And I'm not gonna lie, I am not surprised at all. Because for all the mistakes that AI makes, that for all the sloppy work that AI makes for videos, all the junk that is produced that floods YouTube, Twitter, and Twitter, but actually worse, because it's a butterfly. One thing that AI has been shockingly good at, and I do mean shockingly good at, for quite some time now, it has been music. Like, we've talked about it a couple of times. there's been quite a bit of AI generated music out there that you can't tell it's AI generated. Now, for the most part, AI music hasn't really bothered me. Most of my interaction with it that I know of has been background music for like little YouTube videos and whatnot, where it's just like, oh, you can't copyright claim me if I went ahead and generate the music myself using AI, which, yeah, I get that. And it's just been like little background stuff, so who cares? What happens when the AI generated music is beating out the actual artists? Is AI getting too good? Or are artists just lacking? And I don't know what the answer is. I actually am really curious. What percentage of music on digital platforms is man-made versus AI generated? Heck, I've been going through a lot of various copyright-free music because, well, we're coming to the end of the year. I got to pick new bumpers for the podcast soon. And I have not been having a whole lot of luck. Now you got to wonder, how much of the music that I've been listening to that's just a remix of something else, how much of that was made by AI? It's a good question, isn't it? This will be an interesting one to see it now starting to get more and more attention. Let's wait and see how that goes. Now, here's something I think, though, everyone can get behind. Lawyers should not be using AI for their legal briefs. Apparently, what's been going on a lot lately is that lawyers are using AI to pad out their statements, and now their peers are peer reviewing each other and calling out each other for using AI. Ooh. I don't know, like using AI, I would feel like using AI for your legal statements is just like asking to be taken less seriously. All I could do is just shake my head. That's just all I could do. You can't make this up. But it's real. It is what it is. Lawyers using AI to go ahead and just get at each other. Last one before we go to the break. And that is the fact that we have been having, well, to get back on someone else, or not on someone else, but the previous topic, more and more people, according to studies, are having the same problem that I am. And I wish I had these stories in a different order, but I'm committed now. More and more people can't tell if a song is AI generated. Like I said before, AI has always been shockingly good at making music. Like, I can tell if a video is AI generated, although it's getting much, much, much harder for me to do so. You can tell kind of when a statement is AI generated. You can tell when art is AI generated. Music, though, ooh, it's difficult. It's very, very difficult. And I'm not the only one. The majority of people, in fact, cannot tell the difference between normal, man-made music and AI-made music. What does it mean for us? Are we cooked? Are we doomed? Well, for now, all we can do is wait and see. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, we got to talk about Valve and the Steam machine. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Welcome back, Eagle Eyes on Tech. I'm Eagle Falcon. Now, Valve has went ahead and gone on a spree this week, and they have announced 3 brand new products. First up, they have announced the Steam controller. Now, the Steam controller is unique for the fact that this device sports both joysticks and trackpads to allow users to go ahead and adapt to any game out there, and has software support built in so that you can go ahead and pretty much adapt any kind of What do you mean? Oh, wrong one. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is the Steam controller from 2015. This is not a new product. All right, I'm sorry. Let me get my notes updated. All right. First, Valve unveiled the Steam controller, a wireless controller that utilizes both joysticks and trackpads to be able to create the ultimate flexibility so that just about any PC game out there can go ahead and utilize controller controls so that, well, you can go ahead and experience PC games in a living room type setting. Man, I can't believe we almost made that mix up, huh? It's wild. So this time around, obviously, compared to the 2015 version, we're instead going dual joysticks, like they should have in the first place, along with the dual trackpads, along with the plethora of your usual buttons. We are also having a capacitive sensor on the joysticks. In addition, there is a built-in battery to this Steam controller, unlike the first gen one that I have right there, that uses AA's. In addition, it uses a nice, comfortable magnetic dock to charge the Steam controller. That comes free with every Steam controller out there. It is compatible via the wireless connection on the magnetic puck, in addition to Bluetooth as well. All in all, it looks like a pretty dang good controller, not gonna lie. It's looking pretty good, I gotta say. We have no price yet, but unless the blasted thing's $120, I see this thing selling pretty well. You keep this sucker under, I'll say 70, if you keep it $70, $80 around there, I'd say this thing would do very, very well. All right, that's the first thing Valve announced. Valve then also announced the Steam Machine, a small form factor PC that is running SteamOS that goes straight into the living room, that you can go ahead and play all of your... I have the wrong one again. No. This is the first iteration of it made by Dell. This time we're going with the Steam Machine, also known as the Gabe Cube by dinguses. This sucker, everyone is saying, is a console killer. This thing is going to put an end to Sony and Microsoft's reign. Oh my God. Oh man, it's the end of it all. So this thing is a 6-inch cube that is designed in such a way that it is nearly impossible to block off airflow, so you can put it anywhere inside of your living room, hook it up to a TV, and they have put in technology into the USB port so that just like a game console or a set-top box, it will automatically turn on the TV when you turn on it, unlike most PCs. So we got some magic sauce in there. It is considered a PC. However, I'll just tell you this right now, almost every component in there is soldered on. The CPU is soldered on. The discrete GPU is soldered on. I believe the RAM and SSD are not. I believe those you can actually tweak with, which is good. You do have a mini SD slot on the front, so you can move games around very easily. You have full-size USB ports on it. You have HDMI on the back. You have the power supply built into it. So unlike they actually didn't do it a whole lot this generation, but unlike some consoles of the past, there is no external brick to also manage. So it's all just self-contained. And Valve has said openly, and this is the thing that everyone's ignoring, that this thing will not be priced like a console. Think of it priced like an entry-level PC. This thing will run SteamOS, but it is going to be a modified version of SteamOS. I imagine the modifications are going to include easy switching for multiple users, something you'd more expect for a living room kind of console. But otherwise, Valve is saying they are not going to lock it down like a PC. Or like a console. You are going to go ahead and be able to swap your operating system. Someone in chat saying entry level PC is $350. What entry level PC are you talking about? There ain't no entry level PC that's $350. Any PC you get that is $350 is either used or not a computer. I'm just telling you that right now. I will say though, there is so much cope around this thing because people are hoping. They are hoping that this thing is going to be as cheap as the Steam Deck at $400. This thing is rocking a laptop grade 6-core processor with a discrete AMD 7600 GPU. This thing is roughly 5 times the performance of the Steam Deck, the portable one, and about on par with the Xbox Series X. Roughly up there with the PS5 regular as well. If I had to guess, just based on the fact that it's custom tooling, rocking roughly about $100 processor, rocking roughly a $300 GPU, the increased cost of RAM and SSD, I would say it's a lot of people are saying, oh, it's gonna be $400 or $500. I would say minimum, underline minimum, we're looking at about $800 for this thing to start at. That is my guess. We do not have an official price yet, but I just say brace yourself. A lot of people are saying, oh, this is gonna be perfect. Oh, just a cheap little thing to go ahead and throw my thing. I don't think this thing's gonna be cheap. I think this thing is gonna be just shy of $1,000. The funny thing is though, is that Valve is saying don't expect it to be priced like a console, expect it to be priced like an entry-level PC. You know what the problem is? Consoles are right now priced like an entry-level PC. Every time I look around, the price on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X just keeps going up. Someone in chat says if it hits the $500 price point, it will cripple the actual console market. I would want to know what Valve did to get it to hit $500, and then ask Microsoft and Sony what the heck they're doing that their system costs more. But let's get back to the thing. Is this thing going to kill the Xbox, the Xbox Series X and the PS5? No. A lot of people want to just be like, oh, this thing's going to be amazing. Oh, it's going to ruin what everyone else is doing. Yeah, if it hit 350 or 400, yeah, of course it would. But you got to remember, those of us who got into the Valve ecosystem and already have Steam Decks, we are very, very, very much a minority. There are a decent number of gamers who bought into the Steam Deck and are enjoying the Steam Deck, but the people who are actually using Steam Decks is a drop in the bucket compared to who is using an Xbox Series X, a Sony PS5, or a Switch 2. Where the Steam machine has its advantages, though, is the fact that you might have a higher upfront cost, but all of the hidden costs of a console are not present here. There is no $50 a year or $10 a month to go play online games. There is no $10 surcharge that the console platforms have. But at the same time, the Steam machine does have the problem that you're not going to have the same level of optimization. You're running Windows PC games on an emulation layer called Proton, and it's very good. Don't misunderstand. Proton has been a godsend to hitting back at Windows, but it's not perfect. Its biggest weakness, in fact, has been the high-end AAA games that have anti-cheat. Proton just can't deal with anti-cheat at all. So it's not going to be as seamless as an Xbox or a PlayStation. There are pros here, but let's not kid ourselves into thinking there are no cons with the Steam machine. So let's just get that out of the way. This isn't some magic bullet that's going to put Microsoft in their place forever. This is going to be more something to expand what Valve is doing. And personally, I can't wait to see where it goes, because it is very, very interesting. And then finally, Valve went ahead and also launched a VR headset. No, not that VR headset. This VR headset. The Steam Frame, which, unlike past VR headsets out of Valve, this one is an all-in-one encompassed unit that can use external compute sources. So before, the Valve Index, which was Valve's last VR headset, that required your own computer. It also required external sensors. And granted, the Valve Index was very good at what it did. Very, very good. It's been a long time since the Valve Index was around. All right. There has been a lot of advancements. So Valve is launching the Steam Frame. This launches a modified version of SteamOS again. This time, it's more focused on ARM architecture. Once again, utilizing Linux and its Proton layers and all that, it is able to handle both VR intended games, but also has a mode where it can play non-VR games, where it just projects a giant screen inside the VR environment that you just play on. You have two controllers, very VR style. You can also go ahead and hook up a wireless dongle to whatever your high-end computer is. Utilize the compute on that computer to power the VR headset instead if you so choose. And all the sensors this time, instead of being external, are all built into the device. So if you're into VR, there's a good chance, we'll have to see how things are when it actually launches, this is probably going to be the best option out there. But what about the Vision Pro? What about the Vision Pro? Even Apple can't figure out what the purpose of the Vision Pro is. The Steam Frame is focused on gaming. That's its sole purpose. It's not trying to be a desktop computer. It's not trying to go ahead and be a social media device or anything like that. Someone in chat said the Quest 3 is less than $400. Not everything's about price. I'll say that much. We don't know what this price is either. I couldn't even guess what the price is going to be. I imagine this isn't going to be cheap. I think it's going to be cheaper than the $1,000 the Valve Index cost, because they did cheapen out a few things, because it's just like, we don't need this high of a pixels per inch. We don't need this in there. We don't need that in there. Like, they're doing some cost saving measures in here. I think this thing is going to be sub 1,000. If I had to guess, probably 800. But I am even less confident in that guess than others. We'll have to wait and see. Honestly, I just prefer the Valve one just because Valve doesn't care what you do. That's the biggest plus to Valve. With the Meta Quest, you have to be in their ecosystem. You have to register for Facebook. You have to have everything tied to your Facebook account, and you have to now be a security nightmare. Valve, they don't care. I guarantee you the Valve Index, the Steam Frame is going to cost more than the Quest 3. And I guarantee you the Steam Frame is going to be better than the Quest 3. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The question is it going to be right for you? And that I can't answer. Only you can answer. That's everything Valve showcased. We don't know prices, and that has me very, very concerned. I do think a lot of people are hyping these up and say that these are going to disrupt so many markets. Oh my God. You're going to be greatly disappointed when you hear the price. I guarantee it. Sony, however, is looking at the price of things and saying we have to go cheaper. So the PS5 actually did get a price cut. The PS5 is now available for 55,000 yen at a new low price in Japan only, for the Japanese language only. Okay, this actually doesn't help really you at all, which is a shame because I'd like a $350 PS5. Wouldn't you like a $350 PS5? That'd be great. Well, oh well. A man can dream, though. A man can dream. Well, good for the home turf of Sony, at least. Here's some good news, though, for all the Android users. Google is now letting you sideload apps as long as you are a, quote, experienced user. You can now install Android apps made by unverified developers, meaning you can now install applications that are not on the Android App Store if you are a experienced user. Whatever that means. Are you an experienced user? This is the part where you just nod yes. Now, I'm actually trying to very quickly find out how are they going to try and determine who are experienced users. I don't remember them mentioning anything as to how they'd verify that. In a blog post, Google says this new advanced flow is intended for developers and power users who, quote, have a higher risk tolerance and want the ability to download unverified apps. The company says it's designing this flow specifically to resist coercion and ensure that users aren't tricked into bypassing these safety checks while under pressure from a scammer. The flow will include clear warnings to ensure that users fully understand the risks involved when installing apps made by unverified developers, but ultimately, it puts the choice to do so in the user's hands. Google says it's currently gathering early feedback on the design of this feature and will share more details in the coming months. So basically, it boils down to we have no idea. Someone in chat says they'll probably bury it behind developer mode. It doesn't seem like they're doing that, but I admit I don't know. They very well could be doing that, but the language kind of, it doesn't really say they are, though. So I don't know. The important thing is that they are leaning away from locking everything down. By the by, you know how the Nest thermostats are now obsolete? It's okay. Hackers have found a way to get the Nest thermostats to work again. The, quote, no longer evil project will now trick Nest thermostats, who users go ahead and modify in a certain way, to connect to a third-party server that allows the thermostat to operate normally. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what, because the Nest thermostat isn't like, it's not something that requires like a massive brain to do what it does. I don't understand how the Nest thermostat was not made in such a way that it could just operate in an offline mode. Well, if the server's gone, I guess that's a shutdown. Oh dang, the internet got cut off. I guess we don't have heat anymore. I guess we'll freeze to death, LOL. So, good on the Tinkers. Congratulations. Nest works again. Meanwhile, though, Death Stranding is in the middle of an actual strange collab. Because I can't get over this. I can't. Studio Kojima is partnering with Dynasys to actually create a limited run of an exoskeleton modeled after Death Stranding 2 on the Breach. We're just going to go ahead, actually make the exoskeleton straight from the Nightmare Delivery game and make it into reality. Fortunately, the collab does not include Baby with your exoskeleton, but wow. That's a real thing that really exists now, huh? The collab of the century. We have the Death Stranding exoskeleton. Good to know. Good to know. Russia was showing off their humanoid robot, and it failed. The humanoid robot was brought out to demonstrate just how fantastic the robot known as Aldol, or is it A-Idol? I don't know. I don't care. The point is, the thing came out on stage and immediately collapsed. I just can't help but laugh. This is like some Team Rocket tier stuff right here. Or they want to go out, show off how good they are, and then it immediately collapses right in front of everyone. I'll give them credit, though. We are very, very, very entertained by the robot that came out and decided to collapse. Meanwhile, though, we have a device that's been made by a research team from the University of California, Santa Cruz. It actually looks like they've gone ahead and made a dermal regenerator. An electronic device is using electricity and, quote, drugs to heal wounds. The purpose of the device is to stimulate cell growth for open wounds to heal themselves. The reason I call it a dermal regenerator is because, well, in various sci-fi settings, Star Trek being one of them, they have a device called a dermal regenerator, a device that regenerates the dermis, the skin. That's what this thing is doing. Literally. You know, if it works, it works. It's actually kind of impressive in a weird sort of way. But, you know, you got to suddenly ask yourself, Eagle, if the collapsing robot and the small device that's using electricity, quote, electricity and drugs to heal open wounds isn't the weird story of the week, what is the weird story of the week? How do you have anything weirder than that? Oh, I gotcha. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the last verb, the last story of the day, the weirdest story of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance is kinda sorta real, as MIT has created injectable brain chips that will treat diseases without surgery. Ladies and gentlemen, nanomachines, son! We've done it. How are we fixing you up? Nanomachines. You got a cold? Nanomachines. Someone in chat asked, how do you inject without surgery? You inject. Do you think a flu shot is surgery? Do you think vaccines are surgery? It's an injection. It's not surgery. Like, I feel like this is self-explanatory. This is like, I'm going to ignore the chatter at this point because we're getting into super details here about like, you're injecting past the skull. I didn't read the whole thing. Someone else in chat says they're not going to put it in your skull. They're probably going to put it at the base of your spine. It'll travel to your brain. Something like that, more than likely. In fact, they actually show in this little diagram it being kind of on the back at the base of the spine right there. They also show the injection actually being right here in the shoulder too. So the point is, yes, it says injected without surgery. The point is, nanomachines. Folks, that's going to do it for this episode of Eagle Eyes on Tech. Thank you so much for listening. And I do encourage you to check out my other works, youtube.com/EagleFalcon and twitch.tv/EagleFalcon. Take care, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye. I just gotta ask though, how is the chip gonna fight off disease? The next question is, while the chips are fighting off disease, and before they, exit the system however they exit, can I dream about playing Doom? Can I play Doom on my own disease curing nanovirus things? I have questions. I'm not gonna get these answers though. I also just gotta ask, who comes up with this stuff? And how effective is it gonna be? We're never gonna hear about this again, are we? I got a feeling probably not.